Voters just went to the polls for the first big election day since Donald Trump became president again, and there are 5 big takeaways. Number 1, Mamdani won a mandate. The biggest story this year, by far, has been the rise of Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old Democratic socialist and state assemblyman who came from nowhere to win the Democratic primary for mayor of New York City. And on Tuesday, he officially won the mayorship. It will take a while to get full results, but right now, it looks like Mamdani won a mandate for his agenda, which is a big deal, given that this became a 3-way race after former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who lost to Mamdani in the Democratic primary, ran as an independent. It's also a big deal given non-white voters have been very hesitant about progressives and Democratic socialists in the past. And it's really worth zooming out for a second to understand just how seismic this really is. New York is the biggest city in the country, with a population larger than 38 states. It's the financial capital of the world, the cultural capital of the United States, and an iconic symbol of major events in US history, from waves of immigration in the 20th century to the 9/11 attacks. It's the hometown of the sitting president and both of Democrats' congressional leaders. It has the biggest Jewish population anywhere on earth outside of the state of Israel, and it's the site of the biggest single movement away from Democrats in the 2024 election of any state in the country. And that city just elected a Democratic socialist, a naturalized immigrant, and a staunch critic of Israel. And 20 years after the 9/11 attacks inspired waves of suspicion and surveillance of Muslims, New York elected the first Muslim mayor of a big city in America. Whether you love him or hate him, this is a watershed moment in politics. Similar to Trump's victories, this expands the definition of what's possible in American politics. And it sets up New York as a huge proving ground in the next few years. How Mamdani's policies and popularity fare will have huge stakes for both parties. Okay, look, healthcare in this country is broken, including Medicare. Anyone who's tried to navigate the system knows it. It can be insanely confusing and hard. And that's the exact environment that fraudsters and scammers thrive in. I've seen people in my own life have to duck and dodge, losing their life savings just to get the Medicare benefits that they're entitled to. It's infuriating and it's unfair. And that's what Chapter wants to help with. Chapter was founded by people whose own parents got scammed in this space. Their goal is to protect people navigating the Medicare system by cutting through the noise and offering honest, unbiased help. Chapter advocates for you, not insurance companies. And they're the only advisor that compares every plan nationwide, helping you find the plan that's right for you. Chapter is free, and by their count, they've saved the average senior over $1,000 a year. So whether you're retired yourself, close to it, or just looking out for the people you love, you can get free and unbiased Medicare help by dialing 816-953-0470 or go to askchapter.org/therecount. Number 2. Democrats won the suburbs back. Ask any hardcore politics nerd when they knew Donald Trump was going to win re-election, and they'll tell you one word: Loudoun. Early on election night 2024, results from Loudoun County, a well-off suburban county in Northern Virginia that had been zooming left for years, came in and they showed Donald Trump making big inroads. That pretty clearly showed that Kamala Harris was toast. She had needed to improve in the suburbs to compensate for losing ground everywhere else. So the fact that she was losing ground there showed the writing was on the wall. And that ultimately was a big story in 2024. After years of growing in suburban areas, Democrats lost a lot of those voters back to Trump. So it matters that this time, Democrats saw some progress again. And that was way bigger than we expected. Democratic candidates Abigail Spanberger and Mikie Sherrill won the governorships of New Jersey and Virginia. And suburbs were a huge part of their victories. Both of them are kind of made in a lab for suburbs. They're both women with service backgrounds, Sherrill from the Navy, Spanberger from the CIA. They're generally more moderate than the rest of their party, and they both came to Congress in 2018, flipping longtime suburban Republican districts. So, if anything, it would have been a huge red flag for Democrats if they couldn't pull it out in these blue-leaning states. They did, and they even outperformed some expectations. Number 3. Democrats have begun the post-Biden era. Mikie Sherrill, Abigail Spanberger, and Zohran Mamdani don't have a huge amount in common. Mamdani is a Democratic socialist from New York City. The other two are moderates from the suburbs. But they're all part of Democrats' movement away from elderly leaders. Mamdani is 34, Spanberger is 46, and Sherrill is 53. That's not exactly young by most standards, but by politician standards, that's pretty young, especially compared to, say, Joe Biden. All three also offer some form of differentiation from Biden. Spanberger was an early critic of Biden's spending plans, Mamdani supported the uncommitted movement in 2024, and Sherrill was one of the first congressional Democrats to call for him to drop out of the race. If they end up being popular over the next few years, expect all of them to be parts of the 2028 conversation, from speaking roles at the DNC to potential VP nominees. Number 4, Donald Trump is still driving Democrats' decisions. Love him, hate him, whatever. Donald Trump is more a part of our lives than ever. And that was clear all over Tuesday's results. Democrats invoked him at every turn.
MAGA Republican Winsome Earl Sears, in lockstep with Trump.
Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election.
MAGA's coming for New Jersey with Trump-endorsed Republican Jack Ciattarelli.
Using him as a way to rally core Democratic voters to turn out and turn independent candidates off from Republicans. Trump was also the driver behind California's redistricting ballot initiative, a statewide referendum that Gavin Newsom and other Democrats put on the ballot to allow them to gerrymander the state's maps. That, of course, was in response to Texas gerrymandering its maps at the behest of the president. And yeah, that did pass easily. But all of it emphasized that more than 10 years after Donald Trump first began running for president and 9 months into his second term, opposing him is still the core of what being a Democrat means, for better or worse. Number 5, affordability is the next frontier of American politics. For all the talk of Trump, these elections were not generally about him. The details varied a lot state to state, but overwhelmingly, all of these results revolved around the same premise. The cost of being alive in the United States of America in 2025 is wildly out of control. That's it. First, there was Mamdani, who made the cost of living the centerpiece of his campaign. But as the campaigns in Virginia and New Jersey went on, there were also intense debates and conversations about electricity costs, utility costs, drug prices, and the growing footprint of AI data centers.
Day one as governor, I'm declaring a state of emergency on utility costs.
We have skyrocketing electric bills in a state people can't afford.
Virginians are struggling to afford groceries as prices statewide continue to rise.
The results really underscore what 2024 and its aftermath showed us. The cost of living crisis is going to define the next era of American politics, and both parties are going to have to adjust to that. What was your big takeaway from Election Day 2025? For me, it was definitely Mamdani, and that's the focus of our next episode. So hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you know when that video drops and every time we drop a video.